Hey, Susannah here from The Good Property Company. So like, subscribe, head over to the website, you know the drill. The channel is full of videos that are really useful for you, but also my website, thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. I'm chatting with Arthur. We're in a flip. This is Arthur Dallimer from William Arthur Property. Definitely have a look at his website, have a look at his Instagram, Facebook, and get in touch with him, guys. And this is a relatively small flip that you've done, which you're going to make 50, 60 grand. It went on the market yesterday. There are 10 people booked already for viewings. And Arthur's told the agent, don't give me anybody unless they're pre-qualified and they come chain free. So within 24 hours, there are 10 chain free people waiting to view this property, which will happen next week. And you flip for cash flow.
Yeah.
But you actually have a very large portfolio and it is growing very significantly at the moment, and you've got another 34, 35 units coming through in your portfolio next year that are already deals agreed. And your portfolio is part commercial, part residential. Why?
So commercial tenants are easy. There's very little, not regulation, there's still a contract that you have to adhere to by both sides, but it's a very business transaction over. Maybe a residential is more catered towards tenants, so residential tenants, whereas commercial is more a business transaction. You're dealing with business owners and the exchange of, you provide a location and the building and they provide you rent, whereas with a residential tenant you're providing a building but you're also providing their home. So there's a bit more compliance around residential side of things.
And that's not because you don't want to be compliant and have safe buildings. No. It's what is it?
It's the cost element. I've got full and insuring leases. So
could you explain what a full insuring lease is? Sorry to interrupt.
So that means the tenant is responsible for the roof, the internals, any leaks, everything to do with the building. I just collect the rent. And on top of that, they also pay for the insurance. So the only real cost was the purchase cost when buying a commercial property.
Lovely. And so what happens when they turn around to you and say, oh, Arthur, the roof is leaking?
I go, please refer to your lease, you're responsible. And
that's it? Yeah. Okay. So residential, what kind of agreements have you got with people?
I've got ASTs with residentials.
What are they?
I've got ASTs are a short hold tenancies.
Yes.
Basically, I provide them a building, and they look out. They essentially rent the space within that property. So I'm still responsible for the roof, the electrics, the plumbing, carpet wear and tear, the painting. Tenants are really just there to rent the space off you. This
week, I've paid for 3 new washing machines, 1 new fridge freezer, a brand new boiler. We've had an emergency leak in one of the houses, first time ever emergency, and I'm sure there's loads of other things as well. A couple of tenants going, the plug doesn't fit. And you just go, are you kidding me? The plug doesn't fit, I can't have a bath.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And my team have to go, oh, absolutely. We'd be delighted to sort that out for you. The cost of the plug compared to the time it'll take the team to sort that out. And anybody normal, because the plug does fit. It just, well, I'm sure it fits 99% of the time. Anybody normal would just buy a plug, but no, the plug doesn't fit without giving dimensions. And so I exactly know what you mean. I mean, to the minutiae. Yeah. So what do you prefer, and why do you do both?
I do both because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I don't want all residential tenants. I don't want all my inquiries to be stupid questions like,
what's the plug doesn't fit? Oh, hang on, I had another one this week as well, which was, the curtain pole is broken, and the answer is, oh honey, gorgeous man, gorgeous sweetheart, you pulled it off. Curtain poles don't break.
But you as a landlord are probably responsible for that repair, whereas commercial-wise, your problem, not mine.
Yes. So it's the eggs in 2 baskets you prefer.
Yes.
Which do you make most money out of?
At the moment, commercial.
Why? And are your loan to values about the same on each portfolio?
So it's all within one portfolio, which I'm not sure whether I'd go doing going forward, but I make more through commercial because my loan to value is a lot less.
Okay, so it's not actually, we're not comparing apples with apples.
No.
If we compared apples with apples, so your loan to value being the value of the property, the loan being the mortgage, and the loan expressed as a percentage. So if you had 100 grand property, 75% mortgage, 75 grand mortgage, it would be the mortgage divided by the value as a percentage. So 75 grand mortgage divided by 100 grand property, 75% is 75% loan to value. So if your loan to values were the same, which is going to make you more money at the moment?
At the moment, commercial. For me.
Even if loan to values were the same?
Yes.
Why?
Um,
Wow.
I think at the moment, well, no, if you look at square footage, my residential portfolio is making more.
Okay.
However,
Commercial's cheaper.
commercial is cheaper. Yeah.
Okay, so square foot you're making more residential, but commercial is much cheaper because you make less money on it. So actually, because commercial is cheaper, it's a lower cost, so you're getting a higher yield.
Yes.
Yield is annual rent divided by purchase price. So why do residential at all, apart from what's worrying you about commercial?
If there's a recession, which we're likely to go into soon,
Yeah.
less people are spending within those businesses that rent off me. I have secondary commercial, so secondary high street shops mainly. So what I mean by that is they're not on the main high street, they're on the back streets of established high streets.
Got you.
So they're not kind of prime businesses, they're usually local businesses who are equally going to suffer if no one comes into their restaurants, no one comes into their bars, no one uses their office space. So if I put all my eggs within commercial and that tanks because of the recession, all my rent income is gone. So if, for example, if all my commercial income stopped, I've still got the resi income to supplement my mortgages.
Got you. And you've been using a letting agent for the residential, but you've actually been managing the commercial yourself.
Yes.
Why?
I mean, at the beginning of when all the new commercial tenants come on, we sign a very strict lease. It's all laid out. Other than me chasing for rent or me getting the insurance notice off them, there's no interaction with them.
So time is just not a problem at all.
No.
And that's why you use an intermediary for the lettings.
Yes.
Got you. Other thoughts? Worst thing about each of them?
With commercial, it's harder to get into. You have to have a bigger deposit.
How much deposit?
Well, on my first one I put 50%, on my second one it was 40%. So you're tying up a lot of your money into a project.
Okay. But you can still buy discounted and refinance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just have to do that, buy discounted and refinance?
Yes. Or I kind of, at the moment, have a strict rule where I only want to refinance once. Ever. So
You've seen somebody do a bit of refinancing and then go, oh, I've got to pay them off now. Which, by the way, I'm below 50% loan to value across my entire portfolio, which I think is great, but you
I'm
don't.
at 57.
Oh, winning.
No, I just, for me, the refinancing was a lesson from observing Susannah, but also I just want, when I reach 50, I don't want any mortgages.
Just going to smile now. Anything else that might be helpful for people and what you've learned so far?
With commercial, try not to buy properties with contracted into the landlord and tenant leases. So what that means is that at the end of, say, the term of the lease expires, the leaseholder has an automatic right to still get a lease. Okay, it might be under new terms, however, they have that kind of statutory right that they can get a lease off the landlord.
And you prefer to be in a position to choose your tenant?
Yes.
For the property?
Yeah, so I mean, I've bought properties where I had 4 commercial units, 2 were unoccupied and 2 were contracted into the Landlord and Tenant Act, and they weren't paying for the last 6 months. So, but I use that to that rent arrears as an advantage, where I said I'll write it off if you sign my new lease.
Okay, got you.
And that new lease was contracted out of the Landlord and Tenant Act, and okay, I don't have my ideal leaseholder or my ideal tenant, but I then get the building back in 5 years.
Got you. Unless they turn into amazing tenants.
Yes, yeah. Which they are paying rent now, and they weren't with the previous landlord, but
cheeky. Good advice. Well, I hope that's been useful, particularly if you've kind of always assumed you should do everything residential. And for me, it's been fascinating because I've only ever had one commercial unit, which is my office. So it's been really interesting watching Arthur do resi and commercial and go, and we meet monthly for our KPIs anyway, and kind of go, oh, do you know what? That's not a dumb idea, actually. So I'm actually now going to follow Arthur and do the same, build up a commercial unit as well as my residential property portfolio, because I just think it's eminently sensible. So if you naturally assumed, because you're used to buying property residential, because maybe you bought your own house and you just sort of think that's what a landlord is, I hope this easy to understand video has really made you go, do you know what, I'm going to really double check, shall I do half and half? And then yes, you have to put a bit more cash in, so you do some more flips to make the money, but then you're just on a much better lease, and your time management is brilliant, and you're not arguing. I actually sent my handyman man Joe round to sort the plugs out.
Really? That's why your refurbishment costs every month a lot higher than mine.
Correct. Hope that's super useful, guys, and good luck to you. Remember, subscribe and like the videos. We've got loads of really great videos for you, all in playlists, so you can look at sourcing, raising finance, finding discounted deals, deal packaging, refurbishment, but also have a good look at the website. It's called thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk, and there's tons of brilliant education on there, immediately downloadable, yours for the lifetime of the education. Have a good time in property. We do, most of the time. Until that moment when you're like, ran out of money again.
Why are we here?
Why are we doing this? See you soon. Bye. So if you have really benefited and enjoyed from our content, support our channel, click the like button now. Thanks ever so much.